Hi everyone, welcome back to Soul Sync. I'm Jessica, and today I want to talk about setting expectations with ourselves and others. Now, most conflict between people happens around expectations. We tend to initially go into interactions with good faith for other people, seeing them in a positive light, and then when we have interactions, we start either swinging the other way and seeing them in a negative light, or maybe we just reconfirm for ourselves that they actually are a good person, the good person we thought they were, right? Either confirming our initial assumptions or not confirming our initial assumptions. Now, I had an experience today that was very triggering for me that prompted inspiration for this video. And what we want to remember when we're interacting with people is that others are not us, okay? And we all know this intellectually. We see them over there as someone else. They look different, they talk different, they walk different. We can conceptually acknowledge that they are other, right? They are their own person, their own personality, and they communicate, act, and engage with others in their own way. But when we're interacting with people and we're really hoping for a certain outcome, we tend to, I'll say project ourselves. I was going to say something else, but we'll go with project ourselves and how we are onto the other person, and we hold them to the expectation of behaving the way we would behave. And this is always a trap. This is a trap we set for ourselves as some sort of self-sabotage behavior, or perhaps a need to be right about people. So if we have an undercurrent of how we feel about this person or how we feel in general about interactions with a certain person, we may start to subconsciously form a story about how this person is, how this person acts. And so even though we go into interactions with that individual holding positive intentions and expecting positive outcomes, that subconscious undercurrent storyline that we've already created around this person, a story about who they are, what they always do, what they never do, that's what actually will play out no matter how positive our expectation, anticipation, or intentions are for an interaction with someone. And I just experienced this today where I thought we were on the same page with something. I was, reading their replies to me in a certain way that confirmed what I wanted to happen, what I wanted the outcome to be. And in reality, the outcome was something different. And I was triggered by that. I was really disappointed. I was upset. I felt very frustrated and just really disappointed. And so I let myself feel that for a moment. And that is what I encourage everyone else to do. When you're in that situation and something doesn't play out the way that you hoped it would, the way you want it to, it's important that we allow our emotions to rise up, to flow through us, and that we can feel that, okay? We don't want to bury that down or pretend that everything's fine. We want to really take a moment to be present with ourselves and allow ourselves, give ourselves the respect, okay? This is a matter of self-respect and self-care. We want to give ourselves the respect of feeling those emotions and responding rather than reacting. So we don't want to lash out immediately. We don't want to retaliate. We don't want to accuse. We don't want to berate. We don't want to swear. We may want to on the inside, right? But we're not actually going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to take a moment, okay, to become aware that we are triggered. That's the most important thing, is we need to cultivate this ability to become aware when we are triggered. And then we're going to just take a few seconds after we realize that's happened, and we're going to bring ourselves back to a settled space. So the emotions rise up when the triggering event happens. We become aware that we're triggered because of these emotions we're feeling, that we're allowing. But what are we not doing? We are not reacting. We're not retaliating, okay? We're letting this happen very quickly within us. We're observing that it's happening, and then we're going to take 3 slow, deep, calming breaths before we do anything. All right? And what that's going to do is it is going to allow us to settle ourselves back down and respond rather than react. We're going to respond from a more reasonable place that can assess the situation from more of a non-biased place, okay? Because our ego is getting triggered. So it's going to want to be right. It's going to want to be the loudest. It's going to want to have the last word. It's going to want the other person to conform, give in, agree with us, okay? That's not what we're going for. When we desire to express how we feel, when we desire to move through our triggers, it's important to not engage in that behavior. What we want to do is settle ourselves back, take those 3 breaths after we've settled, and then we're going to respond in a way that conveys how we're feeling about the situation and our perspective. And what that's going to do is it's really going to garner more positive interactions with others, because instead of coming at them with very angry, hurt, aggressive, wounded energy, right? When we get triggered, it's wounding. We are instead approaching them from a space of vulnerability, saying, this is what I'm feeling. This is my internal world. This is how I'm interpreting the situation. And I would like to understand, why we had this misunderstanding and why communication was not clear towards me, why it was not direct, why, we are on such different pages in this instance. And when we do this, it really expresses respect for ourselves and others at the same time, because we're not looking to win, we're not looking to bully, we're not looking to get our way, we're looking to understand and also give the other person an opportunity to understand us, okay? So this always, especially the more that you do it, okay, the more you are practiced in how you present this communication, the more energy that you put into cultivating your ability to do this, you will always end up with positive outcomes. Now, this doesn't mean that they're going to agree with you. This doesn't mean that you're going to get your way, or that, they're going to say, yeah, you're right. Let's do that plan instead. I agree with you. Let's do it. That's not what a positive outcome means. This is positive outcomes for relationships, not events or outcomes themselves. So this is really going to help you and the other person do one of 2 things, okay? Or I should say two things are possible. Okay, you could get 2 results with this person. So one is that you end up on the same page. Communication improves going forward now that you have communicated how you feel, what you need, your understanding, what you would like to happen in the future, and how you plan to, hold space for their approach as well. And you guys will end up on the same page. You will have better communication now that you both know, in a sense, the other person's rules of conduct, right? So when they communicate with you, you're not going to read their communication as you would communicate it. You're going to read their communication from an understanding of who they are and how they communicate and what they are conveying with the words and responses they are choosing. And that's going to help us set our expectations much better, in a much healthier way, because we are no longer projecting ourselves on them. We are no longer wanting them to conform to our version of how it has to go. We are each aware of the other's communication and how we express affirmation or dissent to something, how we work through conflict, how we formulate plans. And it's really going to strengthen the relationship and result in less miscommunication and less triggering events like I experienced today. On the flip side, another outcome you could have is that you just can't see eye to eye ever. Maybe this person, when you express how you feel about the situation, you express, what your expectations were, how you interpreted what they communicated, and you express that you'd like to understand kind of where things went wrong. so that it doesn't happen in the future. And this person gets very defensive. They're just unwilling to work through the situation. They, maybe throw you a bone, but then string you along again. They are really giving you the gift of showing you who they are. And maybe through those interactions, if you end up in that second group with a specific person, it's really a redirection to show you that maybe your values just don't align. Maybe your communication is just so out of alignment that it's just forever, while you're both each in your current state as who you are, it's just perpetually going to be challenging. There's always going to be some degree of conflict. And maybe it's easy to just sort of pump the brakes on making plans with those individuals, okay? So if you get triggered by people when you're trying to make plans, they cancel last minute, they change the plan, they're very ambiguous in their communication, their replies, such that you have to independently or find yourself independently making judgment calls as to what they are indicating. It's important to self-reflect and remember we're not here to project ourselves, how we would handle a situation, how we would communicate onto someone else. It's important to be clear, direct, ask questions, convey how we're feeling if the ambiguity or conflict continues or results in crossed wires, missed connections, just not aligning as you think things should or as you would like them to. And remember to center yourself always. That's very important. So you're coming into the communication from a very grounded, centered space that is in your power and that is respectful for yourself and others. And also, it's important to be humble enough to recognize when perhaps communication with someone, functional, healthy communication, is just not possible. Okay? So I hope that you have benefited from this. This has reminded you of how to take a higher path and approach to challenging conversations, to mixed up communication, to people who are just triggering in their communication or lack thereof by means of word choice, clarity in communication or ambiguity, just how they approach you in general. If you liked this, please like and subscribe below. Look forward to your comments about your experiences with getting triggered in this exact scenario or one similar, and I will see you all next time. Bye.